What is up, guys? Daddy Butter here with another Mobile Legends video. Today, because our last video was so ridiculous with that Rafaela, ADC crazy build that you should never try at home, we're going to go ahead and do something with a little bit more substance. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of the tank items. So let's kind of get queued up for this. And so tank items, a lot of people don't like playing tanks. I personally love playing tanks. I think it's super fun. I love being able to just be part of the action for a long time and, just tank so much damage. I personally get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I've always played tanks in MOBAs, in like RPGs and stuff. I like tanky characters for sure. But a lot of people don't, I think, acquaint themselves with the tank items, and they don't realize like what is more useful in a situation than other situations or whatever. And this is the class of items that is really going to either make or break a build. So I do want to take a look at these guys, and I want to kind of show you guys what they are and like how we can be using them better. And, just kind of everything about them. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to jump into this. And our first item is going to be Courage Bulwark. 770 HP, 45 HP regen, and the unique passive called Bravery raises attack and defense of surrounding allies 10%. I have to say, without a doubt, this is probably, without a doubt. So definitely my favorite tank item in the game. It is so useful. I mean, the HP is average. The 45 HP regen is actually pretty good, but this passive is so much bigger than you could possibly realize. Raises attack and defense of surrounding allies, and that includes yourself. So include yourself in that. Everyone on your team, if they're near you, they get this, including yourself. 10%. So if you're doing a build, in any build whatsoever, if you need to get some tankiness and you can only get one item, Courage Bulwark. It'll raise both of your defenses and your attack. And it's so handy. If you have a team and you're the only tank on your team, you put this item on, and all those damage dealers are now 10% stronger. Every single one of them. And you're also 10% tankier and you do 10% more damage. There's nothing wrong with that. It is so useful, and it is so underused. I think I have yet to see someone build this in a game. And it is ridiculous because this item is so impactful in a game. And I mean, I could go on and on about it, but honestly, guys, this item is all right. I'm so popular. See that? It is so valuable, and you really should be building it. If you have a build, even if you're an ADC and you have all your damage and you're thinking, man, I'm just so squishy, Courage Bulwark, do it. I guarantee you will not regret it. I'm going to stop talking about this because I can seriously go on and on about this item. It is so valuable. The next item is going to be Blade Armor. It gives you an extra 100 armor. Just a little bit, right? Unique passive, Counter Strike. Deals, little S on the end there, 25% of opponent's physical attack adds physical damage to an attacker when a basic attack is received. So basically, if you are attacked by someone and they do 100 damage to you, not only is it going to be not 100 damage, but it's also going to give them back 25% of that. So you're actually doing damage by taking damage. Again, very strong. Obviously, 100 armor is strong, but when you're reflecting that damage back, it is massively valuable. And this item is used fairly often, but I think a lot of people build it for the 100 armor. They're not seeing that passive and how valuable that really is. It's fairly simple, but you're basically reflecting damage, and it is super strong against a team of ADCs, of physical attackers. This is huge. Anytime you're a tank against a team that is heavy AD or heavy physical attack, whatever you want to call it, you want to build this item. It is super helpful, and it will help your team so much. Next item we're going to talk about is Demon Wings. 15 physical attack, 770 HP, and the unique passive Demonize increases attack 40 when HP drops. When HP drops below 40%. So, that 15 physical attack now becomes 55 physical attack. And that's actually a fairly good amount of attack damage on an item. So, it's not something that is going to be overpowering. But again, if you're looking for that last item in a build and you need a little bit of tankiness, but you also want to get some damage out of it, obviously very, very valuable, and does a little bit more damage potentially than something like Ice Force. It's super strong, can be super handy, but this is a very situational item, and I don't see people building it every game at all. Even half the time would be a lot for this item. Maybe if it got a little bit of a buff somewhere, but it can be very, very handy, and you should definitely know it is available to you. Next item, very common. You guys see this one all the time in your games. Cursed Helmet, 920 HP, 50 magic resist, unique passive Sacrifice. Deals 2% of one's max HP as magic damage per second to nearby allies. I would say that this item, along with being built very, very often, is super, super handy. Grouped together with something like Blade Armor, could you imagine the amount of passive damage you're doing to somebody? It's kind of stupid. 2% of their max HP every second. So that adds up. And if you're someone who can do some kind of AoE, like a area of effect abilities around yourself, someone like Balmond, for example, this could really add up. That'll make that spin ability just hurt a little bit more. And that is very, very handy. Obviously, the 920 HP is pretty big. 50 magic resist, super handy. This is for if you're a tank, but you definitely need to find a way to pack a little bit of damage into your kit. You don't have to sacrifice tankiness. You just need to know the right items to build. This one, Blade Armor, will both do that for you, and it's super, super handy to know that is available. Bloodthirsty King. 1,550 HP and 75 HP regen. Unique passive Bloodlust. A kill or assist regens 20% of the hero's HP within 5 seconds. Pretty standard kind of thought process behind this one, you guys. It's gonna give you a lot of health, and it's going to help you keep that health. This is a massively, massively useful support item, tank item, whatever you want to be. This is very, very good. And, if you're the guy, if you're in that situation where you know what, I'm not building damage, but I should get a lot of assists, great. That's beautiful. That's exactly what this item is going to do for you. It's going to make those assists be extremely valuable. Again, paired with something like Blade Armor, Cursed Helmet, you do damage with those items. So if your team kills someone and you've passively done damage, you're gonna get an assist for it. It's great how this item works, and this should be a staple in most kits when you're talking tank items. Probably not a first item. You might want to get some resistances first, but maybe a third or fourth item. Very, very good option for you. Demon's Advent is going to be the next item, and you guys, again, have seen this item very often. I'm very sorry if you hear the dog growling in the background. That is my girlfriend's Chihuahua, and he has a little stuffed animal that looks like BB-8 from Star Wars, and he destroys that thing. He goes absolutely apeshit on it, and it's pretty hilarious. But if that's what you hear, I'm sorry. Demon's Advent, 920 HP, 54 armor, unique passive, Deter. When an enemy hero attacks, his ability, this ability will reduce his or her attack power 4%. This effect lasts 2 seconds and can stack up to 3 times. Okay, so obviously, this is a very, very good item for armor. You see it very often, gives you plenty of HP, but you can potentially lower your enemy's attack power 12%. Now, this does not count for magic power, magic damage, but this will be their attack. It doesn't specify. I would assume it means physical attack. It would be nice if it was maybe a little bit more specific, but I'm going to assume it is for physical attack only. But 12% less. If someone has 500, attack power, you're going to take about 60 of that away. That's pretty big. That's a pretty massive chunk. And it's going to last a few seconds. It's a really, really handy ability. And this is a staple again, probably like even first item against a heavy AD team. Unless you need like mana or something like that, this would be a very, very good first option against an AD team. A fairly balanced team, first or second, probably. Very, very good item. Oracle. A lot of stuff going on with this item, but potentially very, very handy. 850 HP, 36 magic resist, 35 HP regen, 10% cooldown reduction, and the unique passive Scream. Within 4 seconds after being attacked, the hero will regen 4% HP. This effect has an 8-second cooldown time. So a lot of stuff going on here. Let's start off by saying that this is probably not a first, second, or even third item choice in a build, but probably the later half of your build. 850 HP is great. 36 magic resist. Nothing super impressive about 36 magic resist, but again, you probably this is great against a team that has a lot of magic damage, and maybe you have something like Cursed Helmet, or the next item we're going to get to, Saint's Refuge, and you just want to tag on a little bit more. It's great for that. The cooldown reduction is invaluable. It's hard. Obviously, you don't see a lot of cooldown reduction. There is going to be another item, I know for sure, that has cooldown reduction coming up, but for tanks, it does provide that. And the passive, regenning health. That's kind of why you want this to be a later item in the build, because 4% of your HP early in the game isn't very significant. There's probably things you can build earlier in the build that will be more significant than this doing 4% of a low HP level. But later in the game, it will be a lot more, and this is certainly a good second half of your build type item if you just need a little bit more magic resist and the other stats help your specific hero. Saint's Refuge, probably my favorite magic resist item personally. 900 HP, 56 magic resist. The unique passive, Refuge. Every 30 seconds, get one shield that can absorb 450 to 1,150 damage. Shield effect increases as the battle goes on. So, a lot of people probably are building Cursed Helmet over Saint's Refuge. Let's just kind of compare the stats real quick. Cursed Helmet 920 HP, Saint's Refuge 900. Not a huge difference there. 50 magic resist on Cursed Helmet, 56 on Saint's Refuge. Not a massive difference there, but there you go. 20 HP difference and 6 magic resist. But so why would you build this over Cursed Helmet? You just want to be more tanky. Your team has enough damage. They have all the damage they would ever need. And so you need to be as tanky as you can possibly get. This is going to give you potentially an extra 1,150 HP every 30 seconds. And so that can happen in the middle of a battle. It doesn't have to be any time in particular. It's every 30 seconds. Very, very strong. I build this very, very often, and I think you should too. Just know, if you're the only tank and your team really needs that tank, this is a better item to go with than Cursed Helmet would be. So there you go. That's the difference, and that's when you need to make that call. Next item is going to be Dominance Ice. 500 mana, 70 armor, 5% crit strike rate reduction, and the unique passive 20% cooldown reduction, and the next
unique passive, Arctic Cold. Lowers movement speed 5% and lowers attack speed 30% for nearby enemy heroes.
Honestly, guys, you don't see this item built that much either, but it is very, very strong. I build it, on heroes that are tanky, but also are kind of ability reliant. You're gonna see this on people like, Franco. Franco is huge. I could potentially see you building this on Tigreal. I actually, in my tanky build for Rafaela, I built it. You could build it on Yunzao if you needed to add some armor to your build. But those are probably the main characters that I would look at it for. So it has a lot of potential, and that mana is huge. Like I said, if you're an ability reliant tank, and you need some of these stats, it's huge. Now, you're basically a walking nerf for the other team. You reduce their crit rate 5%. Not huge, but one less crit in a team fight could be the turning point. It is that much of a difference. A crit strike, especially if they have built, Blade of Destruction, I think it is. It is the one that raises their crit strike damage 50%. It's huge. One less crit strike can be the changing point. Now, it lowers their movement speed 5%. 5% is great. And if you're a tank, you generally have other crowd control abilities, stuns and slows and suppressions and stuff like that. So it makes it that much easier to get to those people, to land hooks, to do whatever you need to do. And their attack speed is lowered by 30%. That's a big chunk. That's a third of their attack speed. So this item can really be a game changer. And like I said, you're a walking nerf. This item grouped with Courage Bulwark, you're basically nerfing the other team and you're buffing your team. Very, very strong. And that's kind of why I want to do this series, is because you can see like how these items can work together. That's a beautiful combination, and it can really, really help your team. Next item, Immortality. Probably one of the strongest, potentially strongest, differences, whatever I'm trying to say, passives in the game. 800 HP, 40 magic resist, unique passive, rebirth, resurrect 2 seconds after dying and get 15% HP, and a shield that absorbs damage equal to 40% max HP. Shield lasts for 3 seconds. Cooldown for this effect is 180 seconds, 3 minutes, basically. So, again, sort of like Oracle. Probably not an early game item. Maybe a second half of your build item, but it brings you back to life and basically gives you about 55% of your HP back in a roundabout sort of way. 15% in real actual health, and then 40% in a HP shield that lasts for 3 seconds. If you die in the middle of a fight, you come back in the middle of a fight, that's basically as good as HP. So again, very, very, very strong, but not an early game item, something you want to do later. Brute Force Breastplate is going to be the next item. 770 HP, 40 armor, unique passive Brute Force. Attacking an enemy will increase one's capabilities, increasing movement speed 2% and physical attack 3%. This effect can last 4 seconds and can stack up to 4 times. So you can potentially gain an extra 8% movement speed and 12% physical attack. This is a very, very strong item in multiple situations. One, if you need a second armor item and you're a tank, very, very good. Also, if you're some type of a bruiser, Yunzao, Freya, This can be used because you're going to buff yourself. You're going to be
attacking people, so you will be buffing yourself.
while also gaining some of that tankiness. Both are very, very viable uses for this item, and it should be used more, I think, than it is. But you can definitely make good use of it. I would build this item middle to later in the build, sort of similar to Immortality or Oracle. Probably not like a first or second item, maybe not even a third item, but later on in the build. Very, very, very strong. And the last item, Heart of Steel. 880 HP, 30 armor, 35 HP regen, 20% crit strike rate reduction. Pretty self-explanatory, guys. Are you fighting against a team of pure attack damage, physical damage people? Do they have 2 or 3 marksmen on their team? Guess what? Marksmen love crit. If you can take away a fifth of their crit damage, maybe couple it with dominance ice, you're taking away a quarter of their crit strikes. Huge. Very, very, very strong. This is not an early game item for 2 reasons. One, the stats on it aren't super strong, but the passive is. But most people aren't building that crit until a little bit later as well. So the passive isn't going to be nearly as effective earlier in the game. This is an item you're going to have to be a little bit more savvy with the game, probably reading the other team's items, see if they are packing a lot of crit into their kits. If they are, this item, that 30 armor, it feels a lot bigger because they're not critting nearly as often. So this can be a very, very strong item, and when built at the right time in the right game, will be a massive game changer. Something that you'll be very, very, very happy that you have. So what do we got here, guys? A lot of really, really good items. And honestly, out of all of these items, you only see a couple of them on a regular basis, but all of them have a very, very good use, potential, high potential, if used right. And so I really hope that you guys got something out of this. This is probably going to be the most important video as far as these item videos go, because the tank items, their passives are game-changing passives. They're not just specific to yourself. You're buffing a whole team or nerfing a whole team with these items. And so I really hope you guys got something out of this. Again, I've mentioned it in the other videos. Unique passives do not stack. You only get one of them. You can't build 2 Hearts of Steel and get 40% crit strike rate reduction. Does not work like that. You're only going to get 20%. Building 2 of these is immensely stupid. Just like building 2 of pretty much any item in the game is not a good idea. So please don't do it. Having said that, guys, I'm so grateful for anyone who watched these videos. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what else you guys like to see. I'm almost done. I'm going to do movement and jungle items together because they're smaller sets of items. And, if you guys want to see anything else after this, I really want to make these educational videos. So let me know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe if you do feel so inclined. And you guys have a great day. It's Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates that. Happy holidays to everyone who does not celebrate it, but have their own, awesome holidays that they celebrate. And you guys have a great day. I am Daddy Butter, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon.